up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up.
Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. I'm Jay Kleinknecht, of course, alongside head coach Scott Langer. Coach, to jump right into the games, I guess, of the weekend. Friday night there is at the Larson Ice Center in Brookings. A game that had some ups and downs, back and forth, and a chance for you guys, the first time you see him in the regular season. A lot of turnovers early on, and I know you mentioned in between periods that you weren't particularly happy with the way things started, at least, but things seemed to get a little better as the evening went along and as the game kind of progressed, I guess. What do you take away from Friday night against the Blizzard?
Well, I mean, it's a learning experiment, that's for sure. I mean, you get off the bus and you completely give away 20 minutes of hockey, and it's tough to flip the switch and to beat a team. Brookings is on quite a roll, and you need to play your best hockey. And you go out there, and the amount of turnovers that we had as a hockey team was extraordinary. And a team like that's very capable offensively is going to hurt you. We did pick up our level of play. We played a little harder in the second and third. We obviously had a chance there on the breakaway to even it, and didn't quite go the way we wanted it to. And we suffered a road loss. And it's, if you're not prepared to come right out against a team like Brookings, you're gonna sacrifice.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how, as the season goes along, how each team is built a little bit differently. I was surprised a little bit by the Blizzard's speed, and I thought that you guys have kind of out-physicaled them as the second and third went along. But still, they just definitely have some of that breakaway speed. There's a couple of points I'm going to want to get to after we kind of talk briefly about the two games, about having a full team and so on, that we'll talk about. But of course, the weekend without Carson Dimmoff, for example, was something we'll get to. But you suffer the road loss, come back home to the Odie against the Minot Minotauros, who we've seen a lot of, and it's been talked about ad nauseum about how these two teams have played a lot. But you start out strong. Joey Strada gets the Wings on the board first with the first goal of the game, and ice feels like it's tilted a little bit. And then things kind of fell apart a little bit in the second. What do you take away from Saturday night?
It's a team that's been very good in the second period all year long. I mean, it's right there on paper. We discussed it. And our guys left the locker room and completely came out and didn't play. And that was the difference in the entire game. Obviously, in the third period, it was all us, basically. But again, you can't take a period off against a team like Minot. Minot was playing 3 games in 3 nights, and if we came out and played wing hockey the way we're capable of, it's an entirely different game.
Well, you talked about it, Coach. Second period, things kind of, you guys came out of the locker room, as you mentioned, and just kind of gave away a little bit there. But it kind of felt like as the evening went on, it was like, man, this is all going Minot's way. And then something happens, and Jack Kelly decides to take on Springman, and we had a bit of a tilt there, kind of at center ice, and the crowd gets energized, team gets energized, and it was almost as if Jack was saying, you know what, we're not giving up on this. We're still in this. This is our house. And all of a sudden, as you said, the third period just really, it felt like you guys were mounting a comeback, and that they were absolutely, re-energized by that. It's interesting how that can happen, and how either a big hit or a moment in a game can really turn things around, can it?
Oh, for sure. And Jack Kelly, being the leader he is, he completely understood where we were at as a team at that moment, and took it upon himself to get the team going. And sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah.
It could be some big hits, it could be some timely scoring, but for Jack, it was take on a guy and prove, send a message and get his team going. And Jack sacrificed 15 minutes for the hockey team to get him going. But you'd like to have more leaders like that, like Jack, and understand the importance of playing at home in front of your own fans that have just been tremendous, for us since the start of the season. They deserve better. They don't deserve to see 7 goals being put up against their Wings team, and we're a lot better hockey team than what we showed this weekend.
Well, a couple of home games coming up. We'll talk about those in just a bit here. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, Coach, when you talk about 7 goals on a Saturday night, R2's chased and got a chance to see Matt Ladd late in the game. What does that do to a hockey team? Because I've often thought that it can demoralize, but it also can inspire. And sometimes it seems like when there is a change, there's suddenly a little bit of a shift of emotion and of energy and stuff. What are your thoughts on how how it affects the team, I guess. But then also, you know, I had somebody say to me, man, I'd hate to be a coach and have to make that decision. That's got to be a tough one.
Well, it is difficult. I mean, you never want to have to pull your number one goaltender in a game. You know, it could be somewhat demoralizing for that player. But you know, at that point, it was two things. Was our two at his best? No. You know, was our team at our best? Absolutely not. You know, we were giving up some grade A chances. You know, why keep him in there? It's not fair to him at that point either. And you know, there's a certain point when, you know, you owe it to him, that lad, you know, to get out there and to show us what he can do as well. But you know, it's not an easy decision, and it's never a good time to have to pull your goaltender and put someone else in.
Without a doubt. But again, congrats to Matt Ladd. I thought he came in relief and played very well and allowed what felt like a bit of a comeback for the ages, if you know, would have been able to maybe have another 5 minutes or so. One of the other things that I kind of mentioned that we might discuss a little bit early on was the fact that it's been weeks now since you've had the ability to play with a full team. You've had Nick Jenny out, you've had Gage Mackey out, you've had the now Carson Dimmoff. Of course, his suspension has been served, and I know we talked earlier on about, you know, that's just kind of that next man up kind of mentality, and about how, you know, that's part of being on a team, is to have somebody's got to step up and fill that role. But how nice is it to have your full team ready to play again?
I mean, we lost Jack Kelly for this weekend for the first night, so we're back. You know, we're back in the same situation where we need, you know, guys that haven't played the minutes that Jack has played to step in and do the job. That's expected. I mean, you have a 23-man roster, plus you have the ability to bring in affiliates, which we have, and they've done a good job. You know, but other guys have to put the team on their back. That's junior hockey. That's the level we're at. It's not okay to be an average hockey player in junior hockey. I mean, there's a lot on the line.
Yeah.
You know, there's scholarships on the line. There's a lot when it comes to your franchise and the pride. So I mean, whether you're short a guy or short two guys, you have 23 guys to make up a 20-man roster. And as far as I'm concerned, you're going to go compete and give it everything you got and find a way to take a point or two.
Yeah. Well, I guess I spoke too soon. I guess I didn't realize that Jack wouldn't be available this weekend. That's unfortunate for sure. But as we talked about, it is the next man up mentality. All right, well, folks, we'll kind of preview what's coming up on the weekend, and a couple of big fundraiser opportunities coming up as well. So that's all coming up after we hear from a few words from our sponsor.
Let's make a taco. No, seriously. Start with a tortilla, soft tortilla, warm it, kiss it, don't kiss it. Chicken? How about tequila lime chicken? Now we're cooking. Slice this, peel that, snip those. Salsa? Verde. Cheese? Cotija. Oh, forgot to mention. Guac. That's better. See, anyone can make a taco, but we're not anyone. We're Qdoba, and these are knockout tacos. Qdoba Mexican Eats. Choose flavor.
Welcome back to Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect along with head coach Scott Langer. Coach, you know, we talked about the weekend that was. Now we're looking forward to a couple of home games here at the ODI Center, and the fans, I know, love to come out and support the Aberdeen Wings here at the ODI Center. And you know, these are two teams. It's the exact same matchup basically, Friday and Saturday night, except for Friday we see the Blizzard here in Aberdeen. Having had a chance to see them recently, and of course Mana is a whole entirely another story. What do you got to do differently? I mean, I know that we kind of broke it down and talked about some of the mistakes that were made and some things that went wrong. How do you build on that?
Well, I mean, that game, you know, the last time against Brookings comes down to mismanagement of pucks, plain and simple. I mean, if you had a team like that many chances based on your turnovers, you're going to be in trouble. I mean, we had our chances to score goals. You know, we have to be a little more gritty and get to the tough areas of the ice to score more goals, because, you know, we don't have a predominant goal scorer. We score by committee here, and that's the way we have to do things. You know, and our effort has to be better. I mean, to play a team like Brookings, obviously they're on a roll. You know, so it's going to take our best efforts from all 20 of the guys that are in our lineup, from our coaching staff, to beat a team like Brookings right now. And you know what? It's going to start this week in practice. You know, because we got away from the work. You know, we were going on a pretty good stint there, taking points nightly, and then all of a sudden, this past weekend, we take a few steps back. Yeah. So, you know, this weekend it's extremely important for us to have a good week of practice and preparation, And then for the guys to understand that, you know, this is an opportunity to play Brookings at home in front of people that deserve an honest effort. And we need to give them that effort. You know, they come out night in, night out. Doesn't matter if we win or lose, they're still behind us. And this is a great place to play junior hockey. And you have to be able to get up to play at the Odie. It's a fantastic place to play, and there's no reason why our best effort doesn't start this Friday night.
Yeah. And of course, Saturday against Minot again. Coach, how much of it is it a product of a young team? Early on in the season, when you have, like you say, you go on you sweep Bismarck at home, then you go on the road, you know, and pull 3 points out of a possible 4, you know, and things are going well, and then you fall through a little bit. It kind of feels like that's almost a little bit maybe expected with some growing pains, or not so much?
Well, you're going to have that with a young group, but you know, it becomes a time where, you know, you're not just a first-year player anymore. You're not a young guy anymore, and we're getting to that point where it's not acceptable. It's not an excuse. You know, there's a certain way to prepare and to be professional about your approach, and that's going to be expected from this organization. That's part of our culture here. You know, you're going to come to play, or someone else is going to come to play, because there's a lot of guys that, you know, want to be a wing. And I think we have the right group here. It's a great group of guys, but there's one thing we're not gonna have, and that's a lack of work ethic.
Right.
And we're gonna come to work, and we're gonna figure out a way to have that every night. You know, you're gonna lose some games along the way. That's just the game of hockey. It's a very good league, and it's an excellent division. But you know, I think you've seen that. You know, there's no team that's heads and tails above this Aberdeen Wing team.
Right.
You know, with the games that we are losing, we're making the mistake of lacking energy and not having the work ethic or turning pucks over.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens Friday night, 7:15 puck drop. You know, you without a doubt will see the Aberdeen Wings coming out with their best effort. I'm sure Coach will have them prepared. Saturday night again, 7:15 puck drop against the Minot Minotauros. And Friday night, Sandlot Hockey Night, a viewing of a short documentary starting at 6 p.m. T-shirts for sale in the lobby to help support a public backyard rink here in Aberdeen, and skate with the Wings after the game. So come on out with your skates, or even if you don't want to bring your skates, go on out, get autographs, talk to some of the players, and so on. Saturday night, November 19th, it's versus the Minot Minotauros. It's the Thanksgiving food drive, so bring in a non-perishable food item and receive $2 off admission at the door. All donations will be given to local food banks to help with the holidays. I want to also extend a big thank you to everyone for coming out this past weekend to help raise money for Camp Dreammakers. The Jersey auction went very well. A lot of money was raised, again, for Camp Dreammakers. So thank you to all of you who stuck around after the game, cheered on your Aberdeen Wings, and then went on to buy one of those game-worn jerseys. So that'll pretty much wrap it up for this week's Wings Weekly. My name's Jay Klein Connect. We'll see you next week.
Open up the champagne.